Hey, this is Chris. How you doing? I want to talk about masks. I got my Harry Coo with me. It's Harry Cow in Scottish. Yeah, I didn't actually realize Scottish was a separate language until we went over there. Well, I kind of knew that, but you don't really understand until you get there. Anyway, I want to talk about masks. I don't wear a mask out in public, and I'm not planning on wearing one because I am personally not convinced that they're effective for anything. Everything I read says wearing a mask is merely an additional, it's more than one article. It's better than nothing at all, but it doesn't take the place of the other things you're supposed to be doing. Social distancing, staying 6 feet apart, that is much better, and washing your hands. Those two things are the main things to do. Wearing a mask is a supplementary thing that is really of what's the word I'm looking for? Ineffectual value. Of course, we can't run double-blind experiments on the United States population to find out, if it really is, what kind of effect it really has. But most people understand it. It doesn't keep you from getting anything. The size of the droplets that will infect you are smaller than the finest homemade cotton or whatever. They'll let those particles right through. And conversely, they let them right out too. And so really, all you're doing with a mask is possibly cutting down on the larger droplets. I'm not convinced if you're just speaking it makes that big of a difference, or especially if you're breathing. Because if you're breathing, where are you breathing? You're breathing through your nose. Where's the breath go? It goes straight down, right? It goes straight down over your mouth and then down the front of you. And so I'm not convinced that, just simply standing there breathing is really a threat to anybody, because you're not spraying the stuff out. If you're coughing now, and if you're speaking, I can see that. I just don't think it's that much. I mean, I'm sitting here making this video, right? And I'm speaking, and yeah, that's still dry. That's kind of where I'm coming from with this. I don't see the real world example of why a mask is so effective at cutting down on water droplets getting into the air. I just don't. The other thing I've thought about wearing a mask, if you wear a mask, well, I think first of all, it makes people feel, it gives them a false sense of security. We all got a mask. Now I don't really need to worry about all the other stuff. Well, you still do. The other stuff is much more important. Washing your hands and staying 6 feet away from people is much more important than wearing a mask. Wearing a mask I've read a couple articles, and they're from doctors on the internet. It's better than nothing. Well, it's better than nothing really isn't a ringing endorsement of wanting to do, of needing to do something. Well, it's better than absolutely nothing. Well, okay. How much better? 1%, 2%, 5%? I mean, to me, that means less than 10% better. It's like, oh, it's so marginal, I can't even quantify it. So that's one thing. The second thing is, you've got to think, you've got a mask, and you're in an environment where people are breathing, and maybe it's in an enclosed space, and so you're exposed to the virus. The virus, you're in an enclosed space, maybe. So some of those little coronavirus bugs get on your mask. Do they die? No, they don't die. You know why they don't die? Because it's warm and it's moist, and all those little particles get through there. You could really make a case that as these particles that go through your mask down into your airways, and your cilia are trying to sweep them back up out of your nose, right, and out of your throat, that you are trapping millions of viruses within your oral cavity and your nasal cavity, because they can't be expelled, because the air can't move fast enough to get them out. Oh my goodness, can you drive? No, it's just, trying to be fair about it, trying to look at both sides. I'm still not going to wear a mask, but that's just me. Because I am convinced that keeping distance and washing my hands, sterilizing my hands. I've sterilized my hands so many times. This was full 3 weeks ago, and now it's not. And I don't go a lot of places either, but every time I go into a store or I go to lunch, just went to Lowe's to get some stuff to do some work around the house, you know, I sterilize my hands. I just don't take a chance. I don't believe I'm going to get it. I feel actually very, very safe going out, but still, you know, you don't want to ignore things that could possibly happen. And so, since there is like a 5% chance that I could, according to latest statistics, we're running about 3 or 4% of. No, well, I don't know. That's a different stat. Forget that stat. There's you could be exposed anytime. So, you know, be careful. The whole point is to ameliorate the problem as much as possible. And I just don't feel like a mask really does that, unless it's a real mask, and there aren't any of those. And so we have what we have. If we had something better, if we had something that I think was scientifically proven to be effective, rather than having people just say, well, you know, it sounds like a good idea, so let's do it. But there's no scientific data that says, well, yeah, it really is this much better, or that, or what are the benefits, what are the risks. Nobody talks about any risks. I just talked about a couple risks right in this video. I don't know. I can't quantify them though, because I have no idea, because nobody's done a study to say, well, is this worth it? Cost benefit analysis, you know, all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, those are my thoughts. And believe me, it's not like I don't respect you anymore if you wear a mask. That's perfectly fine with me. You need to do what you think you need to do. I just think we need some more information first before we all just start doing something. Just because it sounds good doesn't necessarily mean it is good. All right, guys, questions or comments, leave them in the section below. Like and subscribe. We appreciate it when you do. We'll see you on the next video.